Welcome to Go For Side Effects. I'm your host, Kevin Simon. You all know my co-host, John. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you.
That's one army down. Y'all know Sarah. Sarah, how are you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
Another army down. Wade, how you doing?
Doing great.
There's another damn army person down. Tina, how you doing?
Doing fantastic.
This is my round table. Another army damn person down. All right, and y'all know that I was gonna bring Kurt back onto the I almost said our love show.
Oh,
See,
wow. Okay.
it could be like that. You never know. But anyway, Kurt, how you doing today?
Nuttier than ever.
All right, yeah, we all been having fun a little bit before everybody came on, so let's kind of. This is the way the round table is going to work tonight. Okay, so tonight everybody's going to kind of go through what they wanted to go through. But I would like really for Kurt to go first because what he told me last night, I think all of us need to hear first. So take it away.
Well, as I explained to you yesterday, the Secretary of VA, Dennis McDonald, had a town hall meeting and he put it out on Facebook. He put it out on other locations and he said it's going to happen. And basically put no links out, no way to get to it. So the meeting came, the meeting was happening. There was no links, no way to attend. I tried everywhere, data mined, looking any way to get onto this thing, not miss it. And 1 o'clock, 1:30, 1:45, 2 o'clock, it's over. At 2:15, they put out a press release on the internet saying how well the meeting went, how everything was just hunky-dory. And I was upset. So I went everywhere and I posted on news.va.gov, VA Facebook, VBA Facebook, and VBA Facebook responded to me. And they tried to send me the video. And I said, I didn't want the damn video. I wanted to speak. 2 years now, I've been trying to talk to this man. I confronted him in September outside VA 810 Vermont Street. And he does not answer questions. He does not talk to people. He's busy living a lie. And he got away with it. He basically got away with not inviting anyone except for his little cronies, people that were pre-selected. And the crowd didn't rally. There were 18 comments on the press release. 2 of them, I was real ugly about everything that happened. But because no one will unify and no one will get on board and back any one certain individual up, it's 18 different opinions. Basically, he got away with it. And as far as I'm concerned, the man's both a liar for promising something that didn't happen. 2, he's a coward. He's not willing to face me or anybody else any unexpected questions. And 3, I kind of picture him as a third world tyrant instead of a public servant, which I said that in the Facebook and the news.va.gov public comments. So my concern to the veteran community is if we don't hold the Secretary of VA accountable and he doesn't have an open door policy and we can't reach him, we're going to have to do something about it because the attitude is, I don't have to deal with you. He's going to cut us all off. He's going to do whatever the hell he wants. So the crowd's going to have to change the laws that are out there in order to make him do his job and make him understand that he's not above the law. He has to talk to us. And I have dealt with 8 secretaries of VAs over the years. The best one was Anthony Principi. He had an open door policy. And I got upstairs and I got to see his office, looking over the White House. And I got to talk to his staff. And I had a rating decision in 2 days after I talked to them. But not this secretary. He won't let you get near him. And I've got pictures with him, but I can tell you right now, I'm not smiling. I'm not shaking hands with him. We're not hugging. And after that, I'm sure he deleted my phone number and my name out of his cell phone. But for 2 years, I've been trying to hold him down on the PACT Act and other things. He can't just keep doing this, just can't keep dodging it. And he attacks anyone in the VA circles that he doesn't like to try to shut him down. We're not going to find supporters to help us do it.
Any idea what was discussed?
Yeah.
Any idea what was discussed in that meeting?
Truthfully, I listened to about 5 minutes of it. I got disgusted and I turned it off. The narrator was so busy groveling at his feet, and you're such a great blah blah, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I can't sit there. You can't just not have us on there and then have somebody sugarcoating this one groveling. I can't stand it. I can't listen to it. It's so incredibly insincere.
Is he an
I'm
appointee?
sorry?
Is he an appointee or is he an employee to SES? Do you know?
He's an appointee.
By the White House.
Yeah, by White House. White House appoints him, and that.
But here's the. Go ahead.
That's the problem. We need a VA secretary that actually is for us, not for the White House. And I honestly believe the veterans should vote on who it should be. I think that would be a really good program.
Let's say this. They put him in place because he was a former White House chief of staff to George W. Bush. And in 2003, he basically helped send troops to Iraq when there was no real threat. He's not on our side. He knew who I was back then because I was famous all over the world for opposing the deployment of troops. I was on opposite him during the President's State of the Union address on the other networks. They knew who I was. He knew who I was back then, and he's holding a grudge. This is legacy government personnel we can't get rid of. These are people from past administrations carrying a grudge that we don't need. We need, if anything, we just need a random person. Draw it out of a hat. I don't care if it's a homeless person. That'd be fine by me because then the person at least have a fresh outlook.
What, Tina?
That'd be
an actual veteran in that role.
Sounds great to me.
Yeah, it should be a veteran. It really should be.
I tell you, I work for the government and I've applied for a lot of jobs. I have a pretty good resume and I have yet to be able to get an interview with the VA. But almost everybody I went to high school with works for them and they never served a day.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Wow.
All right. Well, right now, that's where I want to jump to you, Tina. I want to know what your I think I know what your 5-minute discussion is going to be, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, for me, I don't know if everyone experiences this, but the area I'm in, Maryland, and the VA healthcare here, the VA system here, it's like they're doing you a favor if they answer the phone. It's a 40-minute kabuki dance through the phone system to get to talk to someone. Then there's someone who's incredibly rude who will most likely hang up on you because by the time you get to them, you're frustrated. And just trying to get anything done is very challenging. There's this like mealy mouth, oh, thank you for your service. It's like the script they're running through. They really genuinely don't care about the veterans. They could absolutely care less. So that's very frustrating. And then, the whole PACT Act thing, right? They put this out there and they're patting themselves on the back like they really did something, but there's so many nuances and caveats for it. Like I have had rhinitis and sinusitis forever. Had no idea that it was tied back to that. I'm the type of person, I don't go to the doctor unless I'm half dying, right? So I'm not going to be running to the doctor and I don't have a diagnosis for this, that, and the other thing. So when I finally did go, I'd been dealing with it for just about 10 and a half years. So that's when it's first documented at 10 and a half years. Now, the fact that they said that you had to have sinusitis and rhinitis documented within 10 years after you got out, have you ever gone back and tried to get your medical records from that long ago? Most of these hospitals and clinics have sold to the conglomerates and all that stuff has been purged. It's not, to me, in my mind, it's not accidental that they chose a magical number of 10 years that you have to have the diagnosis within that window before the PACT Act applies to you.
That's a really good point.
That's kind of my beef, right? I've combed through all of my old insurance records where I had claims paid, went and got to all the doctors, did everything I could, and they all come back and tell me, oh, we don't have those records anymore. We purged them by policy after so many years. So I can't even prove that I went to the doctor for this in the first place. within that 10-year period. The closest I have is 10 years and 6 months that I happened to go to the VA, and they told me I had cold weather asthma, which apparently doesn't exist. Right. So
What
I
the
just
Weather asthma.
what the hell is
cold
cold
weather
weather
Okay.
asthma?
So, and then they didn't really document it accurately. They just put, asthma with cold weather or whatever, and put me on albuterol, and sent me on my way. And now then to this day, the asthma part, I will say, is kind of like, it's kind of intermittent. So I don't know for sure, but I do know, like, the sinusitis and the rhinitis, like, I can't sit here. I'm sitting here now, my nose is full of just runniness, right? And it's always red. If I don't have makeup on, I've got like this like Rudolph nose action going on, been that way forever. But I did everything I could, and they just kind of just denied me with a letter that doesn't even tell me anything other than I didn't document it within 10 years.
Tina, are you doing this on your own, Tina?
This I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a slam dunk. It's like, I've got VA records that show I have this.
Yeah, don't. One little misnumber writing or anything, get a VSO officer. Have them refile it back through.
Oh, that's a whole other thing up here.
Yeah.
They don't answer the phone here.
Are you
They
serious?
don't answer the phone?
They don't answer the phone.
Then what I suggest is refile it, reappeal it. I would. Reappeal it.
I've had to use Veterans Guardian and pay them to help me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See,
because
I hate
I won't answer the phone.
Has that helped you? I mean, is that?
Oh, they're great. They're great, and they're not that cumbersome expensively. They'll like let you do a payment plan, and you don't pay them unless they win for you, and so it's been nice, but it is. I don't feel like I have the control. Like, they tell you what to give them, and then they kind of take their time to put it together.
So have you ever, you said they don't answer the phone, Tina. Have you ever tried to show up at VSO's doorstep, say, hey,
their voicemail literally said, of course, I haven't tried to switch the VSO, because it's a whole thing, right? To switch your VSO with the VA, you have to fill out a manual form to do that, or to even revoke your VSO. You have to do a manual form. It's not, you can get one electronically. What's that?
A new power of attorney to your new VSO.
Right.
Yeah.
So I haven't done it here on the Eastern Shore in Maryland. The VSO I was dealing with was in DC, and they literally, their voicemail would say, we're too busy to answer your call, and we only take appointments, and our appointments are 6 months out. So good luck getting a call to get that appointment so you can get 6 months out with them. So it was a circular mess. So I just decided to go out and just pay someone. It wasn't worth the frustration.
I don't think I had heard. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that I've heard that before. Wait, anybody else heard that before?
It's a whole another world out there, brother.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Genesis portal that's now part of the system at the regional office has multi-platform functions that's able to bridge all those database issues. And if you can get to a regional VBA office and talk with their staff, they have staff appointed at the front of the office that can sit down with you and do a case review, go through your records, show you things that are missing, pull up anything that there is about you. The Genesis portal is also DOD and VA. It's all integrated now, as well as all the VA medical centers. And here's the kicker, the private sector, because now they use your records, your financial records, using your Social Security number in order to secure your data from certain specific hospitals in the civilian sector. So you have to ask for the Genesis portal, which is the new system, and then you ask for a case review or C-file review. If you can't do a C-file review, then you go back and just say, I just want to look at my records. They can flip the monitor over to you, and you can look, and they can show you what they have. It's all electronic right now. They say that.
I did for the PTSD portion, I did a evaluation, the CMP, and they farm that out to whomever, I
Right.
forget who it is now, but they'll like almost harass you with the phone calls to get your appointment set up. So I got the appointment set up. I got some lady that was clearly uninvested. She was sitting in her car when she did my CMP eval, right?
Wow. That's real
Um,
professional. Yeah.
Right. And so I asked for a copy of that CMP and they told me, well, you have to do a FOIA request for that. So I did. That's been a little over a year and a half ago. And I just keep getting letters periodically that saying it's under review. We'll get it to you. The last time I checked, I thought you got a FOIA request in 30 days, but I guess things have changed.
That
So.
is crazy.
Mm.
Sarah.
I think you
suggest
had something to say.
I suggest you switch to a Privacy Act of 74 request, because a Privacy Act of 74 request, they have to answer the material. Anything that has your name in it, once you list your full name, they have to go through all the channels and give it to you, and they don't charge you for it like they do Freedom of Information Act. They're going to bill you for a FOIA. They will not bill you for a Privacy Act request.
But
Right, Sarah, what's on that mind?
Well, a lot of things, but I'll keep it PG for this purpose. I wanted to bring up the fact that how we get things changed in the VA system is bringing this to the attention of our United States Congress members. And so Operation Truth will be going to DC next year in February for a meet and greet, and in May for our march and demonstration. I think this would be a great opportunity for anyone to join us. Kurt, Tina, anyone that would like to bring up these things about, for example, the Secretary of the VA not doing his job, how we need to have better screening processes for our Secretary of the VA position, and our, of course, Operation Truth's main mission is to fight for our non-deployed veterans that no one is fighting for. We're being left behind. It's obvious the VA understands that this data from our non-deployed is very valuable. They've been collecting that data since the 90s to determine the discrepancies between our non-deployed and our combat veterans. So we're going to hold them to it. We're going to hold them to additional clinics. I'm not sure if you're aware, but in the nation, as a result of our COVID pandemic, they have put funding towards COVID long haul clinics. So when anyone tells you they don't have funding for go for illness clinics, you tell them to shove it right up their ass, because they certainly do. They certainly do have funding to take care of our veterans, and they certainly do have funding for these additional clinics, and we're going to hold them to that funding. When they tell you they don't have funding for research, they most certainly do. They just grabbed another 30 million for their toxic exposure research fund. We're planning on grabbing some of that for our non-deployed veterans. We must determine what the additional vaccine injury, and other toxic exposures that are not included in these research studies. It is valuable information that we all can learn from, not just our combat veterans, not just our non-deployed veterans, but our civilian sector as well. I don't know if you've been watching the news or any of these other individuals and patients that have or feel they have COVID vaccine injuries, but it is growing. It is a huge movement across the globe, and there's a reason for this. Our VA, our Department of Defense, our US government, our World Health Organization has been diagnosing our US citizens, our world citizens with vaccine injury for a long time. It's time that we hold them to using that research money to determine prevention, diagnostics, and treatment protocols for an entire patient demographic that's being left behind. And if you feel that you might not have been affected by vaccines, and you hold to the floor that vaccines don't injure, and of course you've got all these military vaccines and you're just fine, well, guess what? There's a genetic anomaly, and we're going to find out why some veterans, why some citizens get vaccine injured and others don't. It's the same reason why some people get injured from other medical protocols and others don't. Why some people develop cancer living next to farmland and why some don't. There's an important genetic anomaly that we need to find, and we're going to hold our U.S. Congress to do so. So if you'd like to join us in DC, let us know. Please go to our Facebook page, event page that has multiple bits of information on how you can get involved, volunteer, be part of our event, or come with us to explain to our DC Congress members some of these things that need to be changed.
Well, I can tell you right now, Sarah, that I was watching a thing yesterday in our hometown, just right where our property is, right by us, John, where you were up here. We had a big plant explosion.
Really?
Oh, yeah, big. I mean, chemicals just going. They were telling everybody, stay indoors, turn off. You saw it, Kurt, I'm sure. It was all over y'all's news where you live, too. There's a plume of smoke going for miles and miles, and anybody in a 20-mile radius going north, that everybody had to shut their windows, turn off their air conditioners, and stay indoors. It was crazy, and I can't wait for that to come out pretty soon too. Go ahead, Kurt.
Well, I wanted to interject something we also talked about, and I've been trying to explain to a whole bunch of other people. We're going to have to pick one single thing that Congress can agree to or push through or do. And I've been doing this for 26 years. I've been there for 4 laws. I've been there for a variety of things. In the older days, we used to be able to get and reach quite a few co-sponsors and sponsors when we did these proposals. I've worked with the clerk of the House and the others in drafting language. And right now, these guys really don't want to work. I told you before, they don't want us to come in and do walk-ins anymore. If you don't have it scheduled in advance, you're not getting in. Bernie Sanders won't give us the time of day. So the biggest law that governs everything in Gulf War that's affecting all of this right now is PL 105368. This is the one that funds the risk, which is not what we wanted. It's not what we asked for back then. The War-Related Illness and Injury Study Center, $150 million a year sham. It's a throwaway visit, and you can't even get in anymore. And they control it. They don't let us have any say. Environmental agents have any say. The Research Advisory Committee was not what we asked for, and they made sure that it stayed strictly research so that they didn't have to address health care and benefits. So we have a lot of things in this damn law, and it's throttled. And the way it's throttled is to put the attention on the Institute of Medicine, which we don't need anymore. So the biggest thing going with this law is it was created in 1998. It is not current. If we took and amended it and just shortened parts of it or rewritten parts of it, we would go a long ways to turning everything around and taking control away from the Secretary of VA, make the RAC do what we need, make the risk the private specialty clinic that it was supposed to be. Because back then it was called the Gulf War Referral Center. And at least that was closer to what it is, than what we have now. If we unite on a single topic and everybody agrees that it's time to make the laws current, we'll go a long ways to getting something done that will set the ripple effect into all these other issues. Because we're going to have to do something. And so, that's the easy one. The harder one is 3-317, which is the Gulf War presumption. That one, we need to strike the language and just service connect by date and time, which is what they do with all other issues. That one says undiagnosed illness, and then they diagnose you, and you're 92% rejection rate. So
and
it's
everything
easy
overlaps.
I'm sorry?
A lot, and everything overlaps, right? Like you have all of these things that can be wrong with you because of the desert. But if they have any symptom that overlaps, then you get to pick one. You have to pick a lane,
Right.
Well, and again, it's immediately ignored. It's immediately blown off, or because it's not undiagnosed, you're immediately diagnosed, which is dismissal. There's a blah, blah, blah. There's a whole bunch of ways this can go. But the thing is, I pushed it on my committee to simplify, make it easier to work for us. They have complicated it to the point where ORD, OMB, policy and planning, and these others inside of VA tell us how it's going to be done. They shouldn't have any control at all. It needs to be taken away from the Office of Research and Development and get Karen Block out of the equation, Kelly Bricks, all these others out of the equation. The only way we're going to do that is by redirecting the attention, simplifying it, make it current, and then from there, stay with it. If we don't get a soapbox right now and stand on that soapbox there at 810 Vermont Street, they don't give a damn anything we say. So we got to change the laws so that they can't keep funding without us.
I think it's interesting, Kurt, that when they diagnose you, and it's kind of because all of our, as with I think all of us veterans, all of maybe all of our situations are different on how we got connected or otherwise. Because diagnosed, and I look back as you're commenting on that, I went to the University of Iowa, so it was a civilian sector, and they couldn't find anything. I was trying desperately to figure out what was going on with myself, and I gave up, essentially trying to. I didn't give up on getting an answer. I still pursued that. I tried using senators and everything, and would think I had this, and this, and they all said, no, you don't have this, you don't have that, but they would never give me a diagnosis. And you're explaining that as tainted in, and I think, Wade, once you get diagnosed, you're kind of screwed. Is that how it boils down? Once you're given a diagnosis, Wade?
You can if you get a diagnosis that they can draw on to another condition. So like I'll give you just one that I can think, and Kirk can probably confirm this, but like sleep apnea is one of the hardest to get service related for. They look for anything and everything they can to relate sleep apnea for: weight, medication, PTSD. If they can't find anything, like for instance, I was rated for reactive airway disease, which I went a whole nother route, which is my service VSO was very, very surprised that we went that route and got it rated. But they're going to try to find anything and everything, even though Desert Storm veterans have a higher prevalence of sleep apnea than any other conflicts prior to. But I mean, they're going to try to find anything that they can associate it with.
Let me interject this for you. In the what I call the laundry list, which is the list of all the items they've added to the undiagnosed part of 3-317, the part that screws all this up is if you don't have a medical record that shows at the time you were active duty that condition manifested, then it doesn't matter in all this laundry list, because there's nothing that establishes service connection to the time and date. That's what I want to change about 3-317 is I want it to say in the title, get rid of all the designations, get rid of CFI, get rid of UDX, get rid of all these ways that they use as distraction. And I just simply wanted to say date and time. That way you don't have to prove that it happened when you were active duty. You have the condition now, they should service connect. And that's why the language doesn't work, and that's why we're going to have to change it, because there's always a way to dismiss. And I'm
what happens to the words? Where does the word presumptive? Doesn't that presumptive? You were in theater at this time.
There's a caveat on that, though. There's a caveat on everything that's presumptive.
Yeah, that's called a bullshit word. It has to be
listed by a doctor at the time of your service connection in your active duty records. And that's why I have a variety of conditions that are not in my claim, not in my rating decision, things that happen to me active duty that are not documented well. And they just said, too bad, so sad to me. I tried to use 3-317. I fought it for 8 years trying to make it work. I fought it later after I got my service connection. It backfired, and I've realized the problems wrong with the law. I opposed it heavily when I was on my committee, and the chairman at that time said, Kurt, we can't tell VA how to suck eggs. I've never been happy with him and the others doing that position because they dismissed it. 3-317 should be simple, and it just should basically say, you have these conditions, we service connect. Presumption is just a word, but to them, presumption relies on a doctor saying it in your records. And that's the problem.
and a
And if it
time
doesn't say it
frame.
in your active duty records, it didn't happen. Well, the way to use Service Connect now is 6 consecutive months of evidence stipulating that. So right now, you fill out an SF 4138, you write the information down, and you submit it. And then you go back a month later, VA, and you submit another. And the next month, and you submit another. And you keep sending it every single month for
I don't
6
have energy for that.
months. You have consecutive evidence. That will win you a claim. And that's how sad it is right now. That's the trick it takes. They put the SF 4138 into your C file, and you basically take the place of your doctor stating the condition, the same condition every time. Once it's repeated over 6 consecutive months, then it Service Connects.
So-
Most people don't do that.
It sounds-
that's interesting.
But where would we find this out? Like, how would a layperson just know this?
They don't.
You don't.
Even the
Well-
VSOs are not trained on it.
And that's where, you know, all these different variables and all of our different fights. So Tina, you explained that your VSO, it's crazy. And I've, you know, and Kevin, and I know Wade's been able to do it himself. I think Kevin's been successful. It's minimal amount of people, from what I understand. Very, very few people are able to get from point A to that magical, if you want to phrase it like that, 100%. I personally, you know, Tina, if I was directing you on how to go forward based on what you've told me, I would have to say you go the legal route. You've already tried VSOs, and it seems like a complete pain in the ass where you're out and you've tried and you've tried and tried. At some point, that breaking point's got to get there, your threshold, say, I'm done. Because you've already explained that you're paying somebody to help you. I'm like, the hell with it. Go to an attorney. That's what they do.
Here's my thing, though, with all of this. Like, at the end of the day, why is this so damn hard?
Because
right?
it's
If
all
you're
about
there for
this.
us, if you're there for us,
Hold on.
if you're this is you know,
Interject
why
another
is this a
moment.
fight? Why? Because I'm gonna tell you what, when I start getting in this rabbit hole, I don't know about y'all, but when I start getting in this rabbit hole, I'm just tired out the gate, starting to think about this stuff, go back there, get my mind back there.
That's exactly what they want you to do. That they want you to give up.
That's it.
I've been doing this like Kirk. I've been doing this for 25 years.
Let me interject something here. You also need a person with you to do something. And if you will get a buddy letter, which is also an SF 4138 form, with a person with you that says, I saw this person have this, and this, and condition, and listed also in there, a buddy letter is a cooperative evidence that will get you support in a claim, and it will hold up in a VBA hearing. And so I can't express it enough how important it is to either have somebody with you during the CMP or have somebody write out an SF 4138 buddy letter in your defense. A buddy letter, it goes a long ways to getting you a rating decision because it's a witness instead of a doctor.
Yeah,
If
but
you
here's
can't get a doctor to write these things, a
I'm
buddy letter.
I'm going to interject in that because you could have 15 damn witnesses, but it's that person that you're sitting there, that doctor that's sitting across from you, whatever damn mood they're in, they're going to write it down. They're the ones who are going to tell the VA yes or no. I hate to say it. It's the truth because I went in there and that same damn doctor who told me exactly you need to file on neuropathy. You need to file on this, and this. I'm like, dude, you're the one that shot me down last time. The exact same doctor. So what I did, I tape recorded it. Well, I resubmitted it. I went back to that doctor. I said, do I need to replay this for you? This is what I recommend for a lot of vets to do. In Texas, you can do it. Record your damn doctor.
I want to interject on that too. All that time, I fought my claim. I fought it. 8 years trying to get a rating decision. I got to the VBA judge. I got to the VBA hearing in D.C. And in the end, the one thing that did me the most good was having Venus Hammock sit there in the room with me as a buddy. And she alluded to the judge, all the things that were left out, all the things that happened to me, all the stuff that was going on. And he hung on every word she said because she was a witness. And that went a long ways to helping me get that rating decision that day. and plus going over and meeting with the Secretary of VA staff, which went too.
And the CMP exam, which the vast majority of veterans, that when it's their first experience and they don't understand, whether it's over the phone or in person, a CMP exam, compensation and pension exam, that can make you or break you, because if you go in there with the wrong attitude, and I'm not telling anybody to fake the funk, but that CMP exam is crucial to the end result of how things. And like Kevin said, if you get somebody who's in a pissy mood, they'll ask you repeated questions, essentially the same question phrased different mannerisms, and you got to know enough how to answer them, because they're essentially testing you. And they say, well, when did this start? You didn't say, no, it started, I think maybe 2 years ago. No. So a CMP exam, Tina, is because you shared that they're a pain in the ass, whether it's on the phone or in person, and it's tricky. I mean, it's just a challenge at best.
I think
are we running out of time?
Well, I'm what were you going to say, Tina, real quick?
I just think with the CMP exams too, I'm not a fan of them being farmed out to contractors that are the lowest bidders, that aren't necessarily the most qualified people, particularly in mental health arenas.
Amen.
I disagree with that completely. I think they should own the process cradle to grave.
Amen.
In the VA.
That was the best statement I've heard so far.
I like that.
I want to jump to Wade. Wade, I know you want to. Wade's got some stuff I know he definitely needs to talk about.
Well, I've been a pretty anti study for the longest time. I've also been pretty much a personal accountability. So I kind of got myself in check on both of those, and I'm still heavy on the personal accountability on everybody. What I deal with, a lot of the people I deal with, and it's not many, but a handful. That's what I tell them. It's up to you. I ask them, what exactly do you want? If it's the money you want, you're kind of on your own. If it's your health you want, that's on you. I talked to, Kevin and John, you both know, and Tina, Kurt, and Sarah knew, but I did the intake for American University for their new study. The only reason I bought into it is because it's a diet-based study. Again, I'm going back to the personal accountability, drug-free, supplement-free. Yes, I am a diehard believer in Nicholson and NT Factor. I did give that up for the 6 weeks prior to going. At first, I'll honestly say I think I regretted doing that, but I did. I'm a week into it. There's not a whole lot to report, not a whole lot to talk about it. I go back to DC at the end of the month for my vow. They are still heavily recruiting for the study. I can only suggest, I'm not going to slam down anybody's throats and say, you need to go do this. What I will say, just like with any study, the results will come out from this in 1 to 2 years. They had fabulous results with their first study. And I'm going to say I'm being selfish on this, because what I'm doing now, I'm going to have the results in a month. So I'm going to have these results 1 to 2 years before anybody else out there watching this is going to have them. So I'm going to know, and I'm going to know what to do to make myself better. And I can't go out and share it with everybody. We're not going to reach all. So if you want to do it, I would tell you the best person to get the information from is Denise Nichols. Everybody knows who she is. She is happy to respond. It's American University study. I'm sure she will happily send you the listing with all the contact information. I've already spoken with her. Again, I'm a big believer in this study. I'm going to do this, and I'll report back, good, bad, or otherwise. My biggest thing for doing studies, it's not for me. It is for me personally, but it is for our kids. And that being said, I don't really give two shits. I'm 54. I've led a great life. I want to live as long as I can, but I'm doing it for our offspring. That being said, there is a lady who runs Go For Babies and Parents United, Facebook. Go For Babies and Parents United. A lot of people may or may not have heard of them. Kevin, I know you're friends with her, and maybe we can get that posted up on our page. She is trying to recruit any parents who, it's Shelly, by the way, any parents that have kids that they believe have signs and symptoms that may have been passed along to them from us, trying to get numbers together, and hopefully in the near future of trying to do something. The something, I don't know what, but I told her I would mention it with her group. Yeah, I'm on board. I have a child. I told her I would do and help and do what I can. If they can find out what is wrong with us, maybe they can help our kids. Um, as far as a nexus letter and a claim, like just like what Tina was saying, like I shared with Kevin in the group, I was just awarded a claim that took 11 years from start to the BVA.
God.
A lot of people think that 9 months is a long time. Kirk, you've been through it. I didn't. It took 20 years for me to get to 100%, and only 3 issues have anything to do with Desert Storm. It's not a fast process. And for mine was for headaches, which is a presumptive. And just like Kirk was explaining, because I did not have history in my medical files, because I self-treated on active duty, there was no paper trail. And I understand what Kirk was saying. I understand the letter I received back, but they did on this one, they actually ruled in favor of the veteran. So after 11 years, in my opinion, they got it right. So but it took 11 years and a lot of appeals, but I didn't give up. So, and that's what,
Congratulations.
it takes
Yeah.
time.
Well,
I want y'all to understand, I've worked with 5,800 claims. I've helped with Veterans File. I've helped teach a lot of people how to get it done. It's an incredibly frustrating process, but I've had as fast as 3-day walkthroughs through VA. It can be done. A medical walkthrough can be done for people in a bad situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question though? Like for instance, like I have some issues that can definitely tie back. I actually got taken back to the rear while I was in theater to the Air Force Hospital, whatever, they were all out there sunbathing. But I got took back to that, but those medical records, no, they don't exist. They can't find them.
Right. They're gone.
Yeah.
So it's just
With
going to
the
be a
fire-
body statement for that, or
Well, there's a fire at the National Archives in St. Louis where they supposedly stored them. They claim that there's destroyed, but there's 3 different record sets. They do exist, and there's also a record set still stored at Deployment Health at the Pentagon. We'll have to address that on another session. I'll tell people how to get that information and your CRUR information from the Gulf that will help tie you to a location that you were at. It's called your unit locator information. We can't get it today, but we can get it the next time.
Yeah.
that sounds amazing.
I know where to get these records.
Yeah, that's and that's the important part. So for the last part of the series, John, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, good, because I do.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so last night I went. I did my. Y'all know I did my sleep study. Yeah, severe case, sleep apnea. So I went there last night and they hooked me up to this machine and they started me out about 9:30. They made me lay down and I got to play a little bit of music and then I crashed out. Well, the first thing they do is put this nose piece on you. Okay, and what they don't, I guess I didn't listen to the guy clearly. He said, you're going to feel a little bit of pressure. Let me tell you something. He didn't tell me that air was going to shoot into my body and fill me up like a damn balloon. All right? So this air goes right into my nose, and I'm like, holy crap. And I'm thinking to myself, do you spit it out? What the hell do you do? But here's the funny part. He put a piece of tape over my lips. And so I was like, okay. So I'm trying to breathe it out the side. And you hear him going, no. Breathe through your nose. I'm like, how in the hell can you breathe through your damn nose with all the pressure coming in? So he came in, restarted back over. It was quite, to me, I thought it was pretty damn funny because So I said, okay, so what do you do in the beginning? He goes, well, when I said a little bit of pressure, he goes, oh, I accidentally had it turned all the way up. So he turned it back down. And he started laughing. I was like, I tell you what, I said,
I
shit.
find that very funny at all.
I said, I thought my big
That's
toe
great.
got really
But
big.
you're laughing.
And so he goes, look, once you start feeling the pressure, just start breathing in and out of your nose. And so he's in there talking me through this about big breaths, deep breaths, low breaths, and all this. And before I know it, I fell asleep. Well, then all of a sudden I feel this thing on my lips. He's putting another piece of tape on my damn mouth. And I thought he was like rubbing my lips. I was like, what the foo barn crap is going on here? So
Back in the Navy.
oh, that was just cold, man. That was cold.
Sorry,
I've got one for you that's much worse.
Eh, eh, eh,
You get a PET scan. You get a PET scan. They lie to you about how painful it's going to be. They get this giant bottle of fluid and this little IV, and what they don't tell you is they're going to put it in you in 5 seconds. And so when that thing activates, this stuff boils in your arm, and you can feel it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like rushing water going in. And I mean, I just about jumped out of that damn machine when they started that. And after that, I've been afraid of doing contrast because it was so incredibly painful. The sensation. They told me later, said, well, we used the wrong needle. It was too small. That's why it's so turbulent. And I'm like, you mean I needed to do a bigger one?
And they wonder why we don't trust them.
Well, the spinal tap wasn't that bad. I've done every kind of test you can imagine. I volunteered for them. The one that was the grossest was they ran a ball in through my nose and into my throat, and they made me swallow the ball while they kept trying to pull it out. And they would inflate it. That was Dr. Daniel Claw. And I have been through some of the weirdest procedures and labs trying to get answers. And a lot of it, they surprise you after the fact. The EMG, they turned that machine all the way up to get it to work. I was jumping out of my skin. It was burning me. And I'm like, come on, guy, you don't have to have it that damn high just to prove neuropathy. They were electrocuting.
He needed a good laugh.
Hey, I've done the neuropathy test, and I'm telling you, that shit hurts. I don't give two flying shits what anybody says. I don't know what was worse, a kidney stone or going through a neuropathy test.
Good to know. I'm not doing it.
I mean, I'm telling you right now because I've had 38 kidney stones, and I still remember the neuropathy test hurting a whole lot worse.
Well, why don't you go get
one better for you guys.
What?
A prostate biopsy and watch the needle go towards your bunghole.
At a
I had a proctor exam in 1994, and this was before they used anesthetic, before they knocked you out to do it. They propped me up on a table with my butt in the air, and then they brought in 7 interns to watch as they ran that probe up the back of me and embarrassed me in front of these guys. And I'm going to tell you what, that is the most damn painful sensation, having that thing snaking through you, pulling your guts this way, pulling your guts that way. Now they knock you out. But I'm going to tell you, back then, it was brutal. And I was so embarrassed. I'm naked, my butt showing, and they got 7 people standing behind me. I don't know who you are staring at my butt.
And then they brought out the turtles.
Kevin's kind of used to that, but I mean,
that's got to be a Navy joke. But I know we're coming towards the end of the show and everything. But
I can't help myself.
I'm definitely going to pay John back with that. And by the way, so just to let y'all know, December, I think, is it the 7th or the 9th, the Army plays the Navy?
I think the Army beats the Navy?
No. We're doing a round table the week after. And remember, the loser.
If we lose, I won't be there.
Listen, the loser has to wear bright red lipstick. Oh, wait! Don't shake your head like you don't know what I'm talking about. Besides the women, we're gonna have to come up with something for y'all. But bright red lipstick and the loser, which will be y'all, it will not be me. But I'll be good on my bet. If I lose, I promise everybody in TV land, I will
I
wear
think
the
because you
brightest.
stipulated the bet, you should have. If you lose, not only do you have to wear the red lipstick, you have to put on a nice like wig.
Okay. Oh my God! Don't add to this, Tina. You know, I seen
Not a
the
pretty
Navy
image.
play. But right now we're going to
You've
go
seen the
into
Navy play.
we're going to go into the after the show. I appreciate each and every one of y'all listening. Y'all have a great night. Thanks y'all.